Hey, what's going on? Thanks for joining me. I'm RJ. You're awesome. This is the Barchetta from Diamond Guitars, and that means it must be time for us to ask, does it suck? You guys check out the pretty pictures while I do some explaining. You see, this guitar was part of a 1300 guitar blowout sale. When new owners took over Diamond Guitars, they weren't happy with this batch of 1300 guitars that they were left with. So they decided to basically blow them out at cost. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. The reason why you need to know this now is because this means the guitars are basically B stock, and some of the specs might be a little hit and miss as far as what I've been able to find on these guitars and what is actually here, because we don't know. Was it the body woods? Was it the quality of the pickups? We'll figure that out on our own, but there might be these things that are less obvious, that are why they're blowing these out, that we just don't know. So I'll do my best to share everything I have with you, okay? With that said, we start at the headstock, which this one is 3 on the side, no volute, tilt back, and has what I believe are 18-to-1 tuners. The only thing on the company website is that they are diamond custom. The nut, I guess, is plastic. I don't know. The company doesn't say. The fretboard is amaranth, which is also AKA Purple Heart. Okay, same wood. We have 24 medium jumbo or jumbo frets. The radius of the fretboard, really can't tell you. It doesn't feel overly flat, so I'm going to guess it's somewhere in the 12 range. The back of the neck is, they're calling it a modern C. I feel that this one is more of a standard C. A modern C, to my knowledge, is supposed to have a 42 millimeter nut and be relatively slim from front to back. This, while it's not a meaty neck at all, is a little bit wider than that because it feels fairly comfortable to me. A 42 millimeter nut gets a little bit cramped. Moving around gets a little cramped for me. This doesn't feel like that, so I'm saying this is a 43 millimeter nut. I'm also saying that the back of the neck is definitely not slim. It's definitely not a slim C. This is more of a modern standard C. Okay, so take that for what you will, because your mileage may vary. You may actually get one that's carved right, because I don't really think this one was carved right, but more on that when we get to the report card. Now let's talk about the body, which is beautiful, right? Except it's not the color it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a color called shadow silver. This is not silver. This is a metallic pewter color, and I think it looks really nice. So for now, I'll just leave that there. We have 2 humbucking pickups with slugs in them and no adjustable pole pieces, and 1 volume, 1 tone, 1 3-way switch. We have a standard Les Paul style bridge that terminates as a neck through body. Now that we've seen what it looks like on the outside, let's see what it looks like on the inside. Now let's find out just how hot these pickups are. Now let's see how this guitar sounds. I'm just going to put this here while we talk about this guitar. Okay, cool. And now it's your turn. Let me know what you guys think about this guitar in the comments, okay? Any thoughts at all? Love to hear them, okay? While you're forming your opinion, let me give you my report card on this guitar. This one's going to be interesting. Starting at the top, we talk about the headstock. Those tuners, they are listed as being Diamond Custom. That's about all the information I could find. They seem to be 18-to-1 tuners. They work well. The nut, I believe, is plastic, but I can't tell. The fretboard is Amaranth or Purple Heart, same wood. 24 jumbo frets. The work on the frets is nicely done. When we get to the back of the neck, it gets a little interesting because according to the company website, this neck is supposed to be a Slim C. In my estimation, it is definitely not a Slim C. It is a C, but it is more like a standard C. It's a little bit thicker than what you would say a Slim C is, and it is not narrow enough to be what most companies would call a modern C, which is 42 millimeters at the nut. This feels more like 43. I didn't measure it, but I don't think I have to because I know the difference. 42 millimeters for me is just a little bit too crampy up at the nut. You know, it's a little too lacking mobility. But at 43 millimeters, suddenly that changes. And I don't have any issues playing up at the nut on this guitar. Let's talk about the body. The body is a beautiful metallic pewter finish, right? Great, except there's one problem. It's supposed to be a silver metallic finish, okay? Not a big deal to me personally, but again, it's one of those things that makes it a B stock. As for what the body's made out of, according to the website, it says basswood, and it feels like it's basswood, okay? So that should be right. When we move on to the electronics, that's when we start having issues with this guitar. We have a basic three-way switch with one volume and one tone. The switch works more or less as it should. The volume control is more or less just an on-off switch, as is the tone control. They don't swell and expand and get louder, or the tone doesn't get brighter. They're basically just on-off switches. So, not great. But for a $149 guitar, it's not uncommon. And that's the price that I paid for this guitar. But at $399, which is the list price for this guitar, that's a problem. As are the pickups. You see, the humbuckers, they sound pretty good. They're not great. They lack a little top end, but they aren't muddy at all. They're good rhythm guitar pickups, not lead guitar pickups. But there's one other thing about them. They have slugs. There's no adjustable pole pieces here. And this is supposed to be a $399 guitar. That's a problem for me because I can get a guitar on Amazon for $125 that has the proper pole pieces these days. So that's a sign of it being subpar. So as I said, I picked up this guitar for $149. The retail price on this guitar is $399. So if you ask me, does this guitar suck? It all depends on the price point, okay? Because at $149, this guitar doesn't suck. It's not perfect. It's not one of the best guitars to come in here at that price point, but it doesn't suck. At $399, I would have to take a second stab at this and really reconsider that, because at $399, there should be no excuse for the pickups not having a little bit more high end or just having adjustable pole pieces. The controls should work as they should, more or less. They should be better than they are. You shouldn't have a problem with the finish, and the neck should meet the standard that the company has set as far as like its profile. So these are issues. They're not killers, not for me, because I have bigger hands. I'm okay with a thicker neck, and it's not a baseball bat by any means. So that's fine for me. I like it. But I should mention that the work wasn't finished on this neck. I can tell, because when you check at the nut, it's a C, like I told you. When you get further up the neck, about halfway up, about around frets 8, 9, 10, that shape changes to a D, okay? And so that to me isn't on purpose, because I don't think a D profile really fits a lead guitar. But that's just me. It could be on purpose. I don't think it is, because according to the company website, as I said, they're listing these as having a slim C shape. Okay, so take that for what you will. When you ask me, does this guitar suck? At $149, no, it definitely does not suck. I think you need to temper your expectations a little bit, and it's caused me to make a change in this whole system. More on that in a second, because if you ask me at $399, does this suck? I seriously got to reconsider whether it sucks or not, okay? And at $399, I think it kind of does. The workmanship is there, all the pieces are there, but it feels like someone was just trying to meet a quota here and not trying to get everything up to the company standards. But that's just my opinion. And ultimately, I only know this much, right? People at the company, they look at the guitar, they know what it's supposed to be. I'm only guessing. One more thing before we talk about the deal that brought this guitar here in the first place. Did you know that 90% of people who watch RJ's Cave don't subscribe to the channel? Yeah. Honestly, kind of sucks. If you don't mind, do me a favor. You made it this far. How about subscribing to the channel? And hitting that like button too really does help. Also, if you hit the notification bell, then you won't miss out on anything that we do. Like the Sunday night show. The Sunday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, we go live. And that's where we talk about all the different things that go on the channel. And sometimes we just hang out. So it's all good time for all. You should stop by. We're here at World Music Supply. The owners of this company are the new owners of Diamond Guitars, and this is where you can find these blowout guitars. You won't find a whole lot of information on them here. So go head on over to diamondguitars.com. I'll put a link down below and check out the specs there. These may not be exactly the same as those there, but it'll at least give you an idea of what's going on. Between the information you find there and what's available here, you should have a pretty good idea of what to expect. Add that plus the review you're watching, and you should be okay. I'll be perfectly honest though, these guitars at $149, they're okay. But for this price point, around this price point, a couple of dollars less, a couple of dollars more, you can generally find guitars that are a little bit, at least a little bit better than this for the price point. So take that into consideration. Also remember that these guitars are not indicative of the brand. These are all B stock, and that their quality isn't going to be comparable to what you're normally going to find for the models of guitars that are listed here. This is the Barchetta. This is in blue. There's a few basses, Firebird style bass, a couple of Telly style basses. They're all nice looking guitars. Our Halcyons. This is the Bolero. So there's a few options here if you're really interested in this brand. But go in understanding that as B stocks, you're going to end up with some issues like finishes. You're not guaranteed a beautiful finish. Okay? I got a pewter finish on a guitar that's supposed to be silver. These Halcyons, I've seen one YouTuber purchase a Halcyon and they got one that looks like this with all this thick black and heavy gloss on it. And those are the ones that are B stock, when they should look more like this. That's a lot nicer, right? So keep that in mind when you're buying. The flame finishes may not look as good as the ones in the pictures. I hedged my bets and got a paint job one that was a little fancier than the rest. You might want to think about doing that too, and look for guitars that don't have a pick guard, because those are generally a little more expensive to make. And I know when we're talking about Chinese guitars, we're just talking pennies, but we're trying to get the best bang for the buck, right? And some of them, like this one here, solid color, it's got top routed, it's not top routed, excuse me, and it's only $139, not $149 like the bulk of them. So So yeah, go ahead if you're thinking about buying one of these. That's your prerogative. They're not bad guitars. I won't make fun of you for buying one, although I do know that there's a few others out there that at this price point or with $20, $30 more, you're getting a lot more. That's going to do it for this one, guys. You've been awesome. I've been RJ. Until the next one, take it easy.